this video, we cover the following topics. A palette is a flat surface, often with recessed areas on which artists arrange and mix their paints. In painting, it's an essential tool used to blend colors and carry them before applying. There are various types of palettes. They are often designed with specific purposes in mind, such as for the studio or for travel. Palettes may be created from many materials. This may include ceramic, clay, glass, metal, plastic, resin, stone, and wood. Plastic palettes are common in stores and inexpensive. They are convenient and easy to use, are compact, and excellent for traveling. If experiencing issues with paint puddling in the mixing wells, simply use a melamine sponge to gently abrade the plastic surface in the mixing wells. Plastic palettes often feature mixing areas and lid, space for travel brush, and removable pans. Wooden palettes are a novel type of palette with carved areas for holding paint. They often come with a small mixing area and may be held together magnetically. Wooden palettes may contain a recess for attaching binder clips, a mixing area, and will have paint wells. They may feature magnetic closures like the palette depicted on the left. They may be a single piece or two halves that make up the palette. On the right is a palette-shaped palette with a solid, open style. However, it doesn't have a mixing area. Ceramic palettes are a type of palette generally reserved for the studio because they are fragile and can break if dropped. They are easy to clean. Often the top of the palette is open to the air or may not come with a lid to preserve paints. And it's best to cover when dry and not in use. They may be handcrafted or manufactured and come in a variety of shapes and configurations. Paints may be allowed to dry in wells or on the lip of the palette. Ceramic palettes often have deep wells and partitions to keep wet pigment separate. A plate is a great type of palette to learn color mixing with. However, be careful not to add too much water to the plate to prevent the paints running together. Most plates won't have partitions, like normal palettes. So this precaution is important to prevent contamination of paints. Paints may be allowed to dry on the lip of the plate being used as a palette. When dry, cover with plastic wrap to protect. They're inexpensive and easy to find second-hand at thrift stores. Plates may be used as another type of studio palette. Like ceramic palettes, they are fragile and will break if dropped. They are easy to clean and may be covered with plastic wrap when paints are not in use to keep dust out. Glass palettes are best used for a studio palette as an indoor type of palette and should not be used for painting outdoors because of the fragile nature of glass. A clear glass plate or with minimal design may be used as a palette for squeezing out tube watercolor. These may be found inexpensively at thrift and second-hand stores. Place a white sheet of paper underneath the plate for an accurate view of color mixing in the palette. The most common and popular type of palette is the metal palette, which is compact and durable. Their foldable design and size makes them easy to travel with for a great way to quickly capture scenes. Next, we will look at the anatomy of this kind of metal palette to better understand the basic components of the equipment. Here, we will look at the anatomy of a basic metal palette. Most metal palettes contain 2 to 4 rows of pan tracks, often featuring clips that hold the pans in the palette. A set of slanted wells provides mixing areas for smaller puddles of paint. Often the pan tracks come attached to a removable tray that can be lifted out of the palette for cleaning and ease of replacing paints. They usually also offer several larger mixing areas for pools of paint that generally have a partition or wall to keep the paints from mixing inadvertently. They often are trifold and possess a cover or lid to close the set when not in use. The bottom of the palette may offer a thumb ring to help hold the palette while not in the studio, but not every set has this feature. When not in use, it's advisable to close the lid of your palette to shield the paint from airborne contaminants like dust, pet fur, and pollen. Avoid leaving standing water or overly wet paint for extended periods. This is a good habit that will extend the lifespan of a palette. If your palette lacks a built-in lid, consider using plastic wrap as a makeshift protective barrier to keep out unwanted particulate matter. Alternatively, place a flat surface over the palette when it is completely dry. It's advisable to clean your palette periodically to ensure clarity of color mixing and maintain a tidy workspace. The frequency of cleaning depends on your painting habits and personal preferences. Some artists prefer a clean slate before starting a new piece, and clean their palette prior to painting to ensure no unintentional color mixing occurs. Others find inspiration in the remnants of previous sessions and choose to clean their palette less often. However, if the mixing areas become overcrowded or if dried paint accumulates excessively, then it's a good time to give your palette a thorough cleaning. Remove the paint from the palette, if possible. For a thorough cleaning, gently use a toothbrush with lukewarm water and a mild soap. Use an absorbent paper like Scotch shop towels to remove any excess water. A melamine sponge can be used to gently remove any remaining stains. Regular maintenance not only helps in achieving desired colors but also prolongs the life of your palette. Always remember to be gentle while cleaning, especially if your palette is made of a delicate material or has a fragile surface. Store palette in a cool, dry place. Dry palette thoroughly after each use and before closing the lid. This prevents rust, mold, and mildew from developing. A closed palette safeguards against potential spills. The lid protects delicate paints from the sun's ultraviolet rays. Extended exposure to sunlight can cause certain pigments to alter in appearance, hinting at their fugitive nature. Unlock the secrets of watercolor with Comprehensive Watercolor, an interactive guide for learning to paint with watercolor. This one-of-a-kind guide combines detailed explanations, step-by-step instructions, and over 200 embedded videos to help you master techniques and build confidence in your watercolor journey. Whether you're a beginner or looking to refine your skills, this guide has everything you need to grow as an artist. If you're ready to take your watercolor skills to the next level, you can find links to purchase Comprehensive Watercolor in the description below. Choosing the right watercolor supplies can feel overwhelming, but the Ultimate Watercolor Product Guide has you covered. Packed with recommendations, tips, and insights, this guide helps you navigate the art supply aisle with confidence, so you can focus on creating. This free guide accompanies the book Comprehensive Watercolor, an interactive guide for learning to paint with watercolor. Download your free copy of the Ultimate Watercolor Product Guide today by clicking the link located in the video description below or visiting mandikins.com. Thank you for watching. Tap the archer to subscribe and the bell to be notified when I post new content. To continue your watercolor journey, click a video from one of the playlists above.